Where did we come from? The Bible says, in the beginning, God created. Evolution teaches the opposite. No one created. It all happened by itself. Which one is the truth? This is Headquarters. Doc M. Jackie. And Rich. Their job? Investigate and discover the truth. This is The Creation Case.
Hi, Jackie.
Oh, hi, Doc M. How was your presentation at the aquarium this morning?
Fabulous. The kids were so excited to get a shark's tooth.
Wow, nice. Man, I haven't been to the aquarium in so long. I should do that again sometime.
You should. You would have a blast.
Yeah, my favorite part was the tide pool. I used to love touching all of those starfish.
I remember you saying something about going to the aquarium. I bought you something.
You did?
Uh-huh. Where is it?
What is it?
I'll never tell. It's a surprise.
By any chance, was it a starfish?
How did you know?
Just a hunch.
Jackie?
All right, it's on your back.
What? What? I needed a new one. Yeah, get it off. Oh.
Ooh, it's so pretty. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there's more. Our next assignment for Rich is at the ocean.
Really? That's so cool. I love the ocean.
That reminds me, we got a letter from Natalie in Manchester, England.
England? Wow.
She writes right here, Dear Dr. M, since I was little, I've always loved to go on holiday to the seashore. Oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, though, my science professor started teaching about how life started in the ocean millions of years ago and all of that. That's not so good. Oceans are so big and there's so much life in the ocean. Isn't there some evidence of creation in the oceans? Thank you, Natalie. That's nice.
Wow, it's fantastic.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, well, I'll get the assignment over to Rich.
Well, perfect. Rich, where is he anyway?
I think he mentioned waxing his snowboard.
Waxing a snowboard in the middle of the summer?
I don't know. We're talking about Rich here.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get this message over to him.
Do you have a creation question for Headquarters? Send your questions to Doc, Jackie, and Rich by visiting our website at thecreationcase.com.
Hey, I think we got a new message. Maybe it's our new assignment.
Hi, Rich. I have your next assignment, and lucky me, it's one of my favorite topics, the ocean.
Ooh, the ocean.
We need to know, is there any evidence for creation in Earth's oceans? Evolution teaches that all of life started in the oceans, so there has to be some kind of evidence there. We look forward to your report. Oh, and by the way, we're pretty curious. Why are you waxing your snowboard in the middle of summer? It's kind of unusual. Anyway, see ya.
That's true. That is a little bit unusual, snowboarding in the middle of the summer, but that's because I'm up on a glacier, way up, where the snow is here year-round. I better let Jackie know I got the assignment. I better let her know, too, why I'm snowboarding in the middle of the summer. Hi, Jackie. I'm snowboarding on a glacier. Got message. Heading to ocean next. All right, I need to write this in our journal. Earth's oceans. We need to head to the ocean, sea level. That means that right now I'm about 8,500 feet too high. Let's head down. Woo!
Help us investigate today. Download and print your own free journal study guide at thecreationcase.com.
Well, I think we're almost at the ocean. Wait a second. Where did the ocean go? Oops. This isn't the ocean. This is an ancient ocean. Look what we're standing on. Huge salt flat. A big ancient seafloor that's dried out here in Utah.
At one point, all this was the bottom of a huge sea. But how could that be? We're 500 miles away from the Pacific Ocean.
Wow, that's salty. Dried out inland seas like this one are found all over the world. Other seas out there still have water in them and have been shrinking for centuries. This one is over 4,000 feet above sea level. How did a sea get way up here?
That's quite high for a saltwater sea. There's only a couple ways to explain how a huge inland sea could form. Since secular scientists won't consider the idea of a global flood, they say water originally got here from melting glaciers or rain. They say tens of thousands of years of rain and evaporation slowly built up all this salt.
The other explanation is that the flood covered the entire Earth with one huge salty ocean. This is actually one of the flattest places on the planet. Race car drivers come here to race and test their cars to see how fast they can go. Why don't we go for a ride?
This is great! No roads! The floodwaters eventually drained away, leaving pockets of large salty lakes trapped all over the surface of our planet. Over the last few thousand years, they have been shrinking and drying up.
Evolution teaches that all life started about 3 billion years ago from a salty ocean.
There's a problem with that, though. We can measure the salt in the ocean every year, and we see that it's getting saltier. We can also do the math backwards to see how long it's been salty.
The math says there's no way the ocean could have been salty 1 billion years ago. That's a pretty huge problem because evolution teaches that the first creatures evolved from a salty ocean 1 billion years ago. There is a lot of salt in the oceans, but the evidence says there's simply not enough salt in the ocean
For 1 billion years to have passed.
I think I'm going to write that down in my journal.
At the rate salt is entering the ocean, it doesn't appear that 1 billion years could have ever passed.
All right, we need to get back on track. We were heading to an actual ocean, not an old dry one. Come on. As I mentioned, the nearest ocean is the Pacific Ocean, 500 miles that way. You know, a lot of water would be required to cover the whole planet. Where did all that water come from?
The Bible says that during the flood, the water came from 2 places. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and that it erupted from underground.
Exploding water from underground. Wow, God is powerful.
Psalms 95:5 says, "The sea is His, for He made it." If He could create it, He could easily command it to burst. So the surface of the earth split open and water gushed out. The Bible says the water gushed out for 150 days. That's 5 months. That's a lot of water.
We made it to the Pacific Ocean, the largest ocean in the world. Imagine all this water and much, much more flooded the entire earth at the time of the flood. There was enough water to cover the tallest mountains of the earth at that time. All the mountains we see now probably formed during or after the flood because of all the movement of the earth's crust. Mount Everest didn't have to be covered because it probably didn't exist till after the flood. Scientists have calculated that if we were to flatten out the mountains and the ocean floor, the world would be in about 1.5 miles deep of water. In other words, we really don't need that much more water to have a global flood. The key is understanding that before the flood, the surface of the planet was probably a lot flatter. So is there any evidence of cracks in the earth where water would have come bursting forward? Surely there would be some evidence of something so dramatic.
Well, there are a lot of cracks on the surface where molten lava comes out. I wonder if at some point water came from the cracks too. There really is no way of knowing for sure where the flood waters burst from.
One of my favorite parts of walking on the beach is looking for shells and fossils. Shells provide fascinating evidence for the Bible. When a clam dies of natural causes, it relaxes and opens up. This is what we find by the billions on beaches and on the bottom of the ocean all over the world. In a global flood, all these shells would be washed away and buried with layers of sediment. This is exactly what we see in nature. Here we see tons of layers where shells were buried and piled up. What would happen to clams in the event of a flood? They would be buried alive, like this. We also know that these are found all over the world by the millions. We know that they did not die from natural causes because otherwise they would have opened up like this. See how this shell is closed? That's how we know that this clam was buried alive, because it never got to open up. Whatever water catastrophe buried all these shells,
Buried them quickly.
that sounds a lot like the flood story, doesn't it? I think I'm going to write that in my journal.
Millions of closed clams all over the world is evidence that they were buried alive by a water catastrophe.
You know, this is a pretty place. I think I'm going to sketch this too.
It's amazing how powerful is the evidence from a tiny little clam.
Did you know that layers of shells like this one are even found on top of Mount Everest? Everything that we've talked about shows us how a flood would have happened.
Here's the way I imagine it might have happened.
First, the surface cracks, the water bursts forth, and the earth is flooded. Next, everything is buried in layers: trees, animals, shells. The water stops coming out, and the surface plates begin to settle. These huge plates collide, smashing into each other and causing uplift. That uplift pushes the land upwards. This causes areas that were once at the bottom of the sea and full of marine fossils to now be at the highest peaks.
The ocean is an amazing place, filled with life and amazing creatures that God created.
You know, if we're going to be talking about the ocean, we need to get a close-up look and get in the water. We're going to do that first thing in the morning.
Hi everyone, it's Doc M here at headquarters. Got some new evidence I want to show you. It blows me away. Have you ever heard of the Fibonacci numbers? It's a series of numbers. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. It goes like this. Let me write them out. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and you could keep going, getting bigger and bigger. Each number is the sum of the two numbers before it. Let's look at it. We start with 0 and 1. Make 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 3 plus 5 equals 8. 5 plus 8 equals 13. 8 plus 13 equals 21. You follow this pattern of math to make bigger and bigger numbers. There's nothing random about it. It's a very clear pattern. When we see patterns, that means there is some sort of intelligent plan behind it. When we see things that are just random, then it's just random. No intelligence. Random would be like 9, 15, 3, 27, 11, all mixed up. Did you know the Fibonacci numbers are very commonly found in nature? Wait, you say. Yep, intelligent mathematical patterns in nature. I told you it's exciting. Check this out. Let's take the Fibonacci numbers and make a drawing out of them. 0 and 1. Since 0 has no value, no space, but 1. 0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. And we could keep going. This is a Fibonacci spiral. Watch. Through the 1, through the second one, now through the 2, through the 3, through the 5, through the 8. This is the spiral. This shape is seen elsewhere. Do you know? In nature. Let me show you some pictures on the computer. This is my favorite part. This is the nautilus shell. Do you see the spiral? It's there! Yes! Another one. The galaxies of the universe spiraling in the same way. Another yes! Wow! Plants and flowers, we see the Fibonacci spiral. Wow! It's getting more exciting. Hurricanes. Wow! Animals. Wow! Yes. Remember, this is not a random spiral. This is an intelligently created mathematical pattern. Only God, the master designer, who made everything, could plant these little clues in the nature we see around us. You're excited, aren't you? Oh, me too. But again, for me, this is why I believe God is my creator.
Hey everyone, it's me, Rich Aguilera. I'd love to see you at one of our live events. To see where I'll be speaking, visit our website, thecreationcase.com.
Good morning. Today is a day that we're gonna get on the ocean and explore it close up. In a few minutes, I'm gonna rent a kayak and go out on the ocean. You know, I've noticed that a lot of the California coast has cliffs. Every day, the waves pound on the cliffs and erode them. So where do you suppose all that rock is going? Back in the ocean. Each year, tons of dirt, rock, and sediment goes into the ocean. It comes from rivers, it could get blown in with the wind, or from volcanic ash. Scientists can estimate how much sediment is going into the ocean every year. They can estimate how much leaves the ocean too. For evolutionists, the results are a problem. You see, evolution teaches that the oceans and the landforms have been here for millions of years. But at the rate that our land is now eroding into the ocean, all our land will have eroded into the ocean. The land is eroding into the ocean so quickly that evolution doesn't have the millions of years that it needs for stuff to evolve. Remember, evolution needs millions of years, but the rate of erosion doesn't allow them that much time. That's amazing. I think I'm going to write that down in my journal.
It seems like land is eroding into the ocean way too fast for this to have been going on for millions of years.
Well, the kayak place is just up ahead. I can't wait to get on the water. You know, scientists have also measured how much sediment there is on the ocean floor. The average is about 2,000 feet of sediment. If the world is a couple billion years old, there should be about 20 miles of sediment in the ocean floor. You know, there's some cool rock cliffs here behind us. Let me see if we can get a little closer. If the world has existed for billions of years, all the continents should have eroded into the oceans 100 times by now. Instead, what do we actually see? We see an inadequate amount of sediment on the ocean floors. That provides more proof that a global flood happened recently. Even though the Bible is not a science textbook, I'm glad that God left clues in nature about creation. Hey, I think I see some wildlife ahead. Let's go check it out.
Sure enough, there's a bunch of seals here. Let's go visit them. Here's something fascinating about seals. Did you know that they can hold their breath for almost 2 hours? Wow! Let's go over and see if we can talk to them. We should enjoy God's nature everywhere we go.
You know, I was really amazed at the size of the dry salt flats we visited in Utah. There were miles and miles of nothing but salt. And did you see the Jeep? I had to go through the car wash like 5 times. It's really powerful evidence that at some point, water covered the entire earth, like the Bible says. Well, I need to finish up my report and get it over to HQ. Remember, if you want to read it, just go to our website.
At the rate salt is entering the ocean, it doesn't appear that 1 billion years could have ever passed. Closed fossil shells are evidence that they were buried alive. There's not enough sediment on the ocean floor for it to have been accumulating for millions of years.
You know, salt is used to preserve food so that it doesn't rot or go bad. It's neat that the Bible says in Matthew 5:13 that Christians are the salt of the earth. What that's trying to say is that one of the things we're supposed to do is be like salt and help things not go bad. That means we should always do good. That means we can help others and bring joy to the people around us. In other words, be a good person. Don't be a pain to the people around you. Bring joy to them. Well, I hope you'll join me again for our next assignment. Remember, God the Creator loves what He creates, especially you. Good night. Bloopers! Don't leave yet! Like this.
And a hit kind of.
It's flood story, doesn't it?
Adios.
We really don't need. Oh! Catastrophe buried all these. Where's my pocket? I think I'm gonna write that down in.